former civil servant has accused the office of British Prime Minister Boris Johnson of lying over how much he knew about sexual misconduct complaints against a senior MP. Last week, Downing Street said the Prime Minister wasn't aware of any specific complaints against Chris Pincher before appointing him to a government role. But Mr Johnson's office has been accused of making an inaccurate claim. Well, let's talk now to Alistair Jones, who's Associate Professor of Politics at Montfort University. Welcome back to the programme, Alistair. So, contradictory messages from Downing Street on what the Prime Minister did or didn't know about the Chris Pincher case. I mean, this story is not going away, is it? And that is bad news for the Prime Minister.
It's horrendous news for the Prime Minister because it's yet another series of stories where he has been economical with the actuality. In simple terms, as Simon MacDonald said, in effect, he's lied. He's lied repeatedly. And this is not the first time it's happened. He's misled the House on many occasions. It's part of Johnson's DNA, or at least seems to be the case. Now, what is interesting is coming from Downing Street is the suggestion that Johnson forgot that there had been confirmed misconduct, to use the official parlance, about Pincher when he had been at the Foreign Office. I think if you were to forget something like that, it would worry me about what else he has forgotten.
And this is really bigger than just Mr Pincher's alleged behaviour, isn't it? What are the wider ramifications here?
Well, I think a lot of people in the Conservative Party, the MPs themselves, who were willing to give Boris Johnson the benefit of the doubt when there was the vote of no confidence in him, are now reconsidering their positions. So with tomorrow being the date that they're going to announce the elections to the 1922 committee, it is going to be likely that anti-Johnson MPs are going to take control of that committee and may decide to rewrite the leadership election rules to now another challenge to Boris Johnson's leadership. And if that goes ahead, I think with the way this story is going and how angry many backbench MPs now are, Johnson may be removed from office as party leader and thus as Prime Minister.
And this sort of comes hard on the heels of Partygate, those illegal gatherings during lockdown. Do you think this is now the end of the road for Boris Johnson?
I would never, ever dare say it's the end of the road for Boris Johnson because in some respects he has been like Teflon. Nothing has actually stuck. So even when he is found guilty of breaching the rules and lockdown, and therefore he should resign as a Prime Minister, or any minister should resign, he has failed to do so. He's now rewritten the rules, so merely an apology will suffice. And it may be that he decides that on the ministerial code, even though he's forgotten that another apology will suffice. I think it's going to be interesting to see Prime Minister's questions tomorrow, just what line Keir Starmer takes in trying to attack Johnson on this particular issue.
And how damaging is this all to the wider Conservative Party?
It is hugely damaging. I think what we're seeing, what we saw with the by-elections was just huge swings against the Conservatives. Now, it's not necessarily that the Lib Dems are more popular or that Labour are more popular. It is that people, many of them Conservative Party supporters, Conservative Party members, are angry with Johnson, his sheer arrogance in that he seems to think that he's above the law. So the knock-on effect is going to be the longer he stays in post, the more people in the Conservative Party or Conservative Party supporters are going to be angry with the party and they're going to blame all of them, and there'll be repercussions therefore at the next general election. So if this carries on for much longer, people will be talking about Keir Starmer forming a government outright rather than it being the possibility of a coalition government to keep Johnson out of power.
Alistair Jones from Montfort University. Good to talk to you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.